Guys, Happy Conscious Gal here. It's been about a week since my last vlog and it has been a crazy week. Oh my god. I am actually officially finished my round and I'm actually on day 4 of phase 3. I'm so sorry I didn't do a vlog on the last day of my round. I took some after photos and I was getting ready to do a vlog and then like the shit hit the fan here in all sorts of ways, which I'll tell you about. And the last few days have just been crazy, stressful, busy. And in some ways, I kind of feel like my transition from P2 to P3, which I thought was going to be such a big deal, has just been so in the background because of what's been happening here that I've hardly even paid any attention to it. That's weird. It's just sort of taking care of itself. But in terms of my HCG stuff, I decided to finish the round even though I didn't actually hit the official end. I didn't get to the crazy hunger that you're supposed to get when you run out of abnormal fat. And when I look at my body, there's probably still 3 or 4 pounds left. Not very much. I mean, no one would notice it if they didn't have a magnifying glass. But that's why I didn't hit the end, because I still have a bit of fat. As I've told you guys, a little bit of fat around my tummy, a little bit of fat around my back. But, you know, it's okay, because it would have been fun to get to the end and see myself without that and find out what my actual real size is under everything. But you know what? Who cares? It's like 3 or 4 pounds and I feel fantastic. I look great. I'm the slimmest I've ever been in my entire life, probably since I was like 8 years old or something. And I'm happy. And I just felt like I'd done enough. I felt like I was at the end. As I said, things were starting to get crazy in my life. We're about to move to another part of Australia and there was so much coming up, goodbye parties and packing, and I just thought I just need to finish this and move forwards. And also Tom was coming and I really wanted to finish phase 2 before Tom. I didn't want to do the last few days while I had my period, so it sort of made the decision for me. And also I made the last vlog, I told you I hit my goal weight on my vision board, which was 60 kilos, or I think that's 132.2 or something pounds. And, you know, that was my fantasy goal and my wildest dreams I never thought I'd get. So once I hit 60, I felt very complete, you know. So it's fine. So I made a decision to finish. That was on Tuesday was my last injection day. Today is Monday, so it was a week ago. I then had the 3 days, 72 hours with no injection with VLCD. The second day of that, we were actually on a drive. We went on a drive up the country, up the coast to stay with a friend of mine overnight, which was kind of interesting. My second last day on P2 after 45 days or something. Took all the food with me, cooked my fish, cooked everything, you know, had it all in the ice chest, just like when I went camping last round, and it was kind of funny. When I was up there on that day, I was starting to get a little bit hungry because, you know, the HCG was getting out of my system and, you know, I'm quite light at the moment. I'm at the very lower end of my body fat and I wouldn't say I hit the crazy hunger. I probably only ate 600 calories, but was hungrier than I had been. And I probably didn't have quite enough food with me. And she had some mac nuts, so I just hit the mac nuts on my second last day. Thought it was going to be a disaster, but it was fine. I gained like the tiniest little bit when I got the next day, but it was fine. Went back down again. And then I had the 3rd day of VLCD, and then I woke up on Friday morning, which was my first day of phase 3, and I was 60.3 kilograms. In those last couple of days on phase 2, my weight was a tiny bit higher, like less than a pound higher, but it's because I was about to go into Tom and my body starts to bloat a little bit, so I was basically the same. I don't even count that. You know, I think I was 132.9 on that day, so, you know, I'd gone up like 0.6, so it's nothing, and that was because of Tom, and because I had a bit more food in my stomach. So I was very happy with that. So I did my first day on phase 3 on Friday. It was very painless. In the sense of the food, because I just went to the market that morning and bought tons, and oh, it was fun going to the market. But you know, I'm a big vegetable eater. I'm a raw foodie, vegetarian-y person, so I went crazy buying vegetables. I decided this round to allow myself fruit. In my first P3, I really only ate green apples, but I'd done a lot of reading about low-carb fruits, and I decided this time I'm going to eat a bit more fruits, berries and cantaloupe, and once the stone fruit's in season, we're going into spring here, so once the plums and apricots and all the other low GI fruits come in, I'll be able to eat them. So I had a little bit of fruit, I had some eggs for breakfast, just moved into a little bit more protein. I decided that this round in phase 3 I'm not going to eat lots of nuts and I'm not going to eat cheese Because last round in phase 3, I introduced nuts and cheese on day 1, and I also introduced a lot of baked goods. You'll remember, those of you who watch my vlogs, because I had my birthday party and I wanted to have all this stuff in the fridge, and I actually gained 1 kilogram in that first week last time, and I think it's because I was eating a lot of very high-calorie concentrated foods. So this P3, I have no need for that. I don't have any urges for any of that, so I'm just eating tons of protein, fish, prawns, eggs, tuna, stuff like that, loads and loads of vegetables and some fruit, and I'm feeling good. Bit of chocolate delight, you know, a few mac nuts, but I'm not really adding in any other nuts, not adding cheese, not adding baked coconut flour and all that sort of stuff like last time, not adding nut butters and all that. So it's really like P2, just bigger volumes and more vegetables, so that was good. So everything was going well. My first day I bought the food, feeling great, and then things got really, really crazy on that day. Let me just check I'm getting my days right. Yeah. Crazy day. That day, went to the market, came home, got in touch with the woman we're supposed to be staying with where we're going. We're going up north to a place called Byron Bay to move there for 3 to 6 months to try it out and see if we like it, then we're going to move there permanently. And we got off the phone and we realised we can't stay with this woman, it's not going to work for various reasons. Anyway, we just went into a major panic. Oh my God, what are we going to do? We're supposed to be leaving in 5 days. We haven't finished packing. There's someone coming to stay at our house. We now don't have anywhere to go. Blah, 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 blah. We're supposed to be doing this house swap. It didn't work. So then we had this crazy 24 hours of like getting online, trying to find new places. And then we realized, you know what, we can't do a house swap. We're going to have to rent somewhere. We've got to organise the money for that. We might have to rent out our place. So suddenly this beautiful, effortless thing that had been transpiring went all pear-shaped, as we say in Australia. Pear-shaped, like this. So it's like a crazy 24 hours. And it was really good because it really got me to look at some of my issues. Because I found myself caring much more about the woman who was coming here. I didn't want to let her down. I didn't want to abandon her. I didn't want her to feel stranded. I didn't want her and her kids to have nowhere to stay. And I was sort of putting them ahead of us, even though if we're going to rent somewhere up there, we need to have someone giving us rent here, and she can't pay rent. So it brought up all my stuff about putting other people before myself, not setting boundaries, you know, all the issues that caused me to stack on this body weight in the first place. So it was kind of interesting. They all reared their head right at the end of this process. And as I've said lots of times, I really believe this weight loss journey and any health journey is a personal growth journey. It's always about our patterns and our beliefs and our emotions. That's what I'm writing about in these HCG books. So it was really good that I got tested on all of this. This whole situation the last few days has really got me to be very clear in what my partner and I want for our journey up north, the place we want to live, compassion for other people and yet still boundaries and still making sure our own interests are taken care of while still respecting that other people have needs and communicating that. So it's been really, really good. And the whole thing has resolved now, 4 days later. We now have a place to stay up in Byron. We are paying for it. It's a beautiful place. It's actually our dream place. It's the exact place we would build if we lived there. So it's really good because we're going there now for a real trial, because we're actually going to be living in a place that's our really where we would live. We're going to be renting this place out. The woman who was going to come here might come for a few weeks just so she doesn't feel completely like we've ditched her, but we can still transition into a paid rental situation here to get some money coming in to pay for where we're going. So it's all worked out in the end, but it pushed all of my buttons for a few days in terms of, oh my God, I'm letting people down, you know, all that stuff. And what was interesting was, in the past, I would have been stuffing my face with all this stress, and I didn't. I really didn't. It's quite amazing. A couple of times I felt the urge to eat chocolate delight, but it was more because I was hungry, and I still only had one piece both days. I didn't like go and gorge on it or anything. And I'm realizing now while I'm vlogging to you guys that I didn't go into any kind of eating, comforting, or anything to do with the stress. I dealt with the stress head on. Alan and I talked it all through. We worked through all the emotional issues. We dealt with the problem. We found the solution. And it didn't interfere with my eating. So that's fantastic. That shows me that, you know, this weight that I have shed will actually stay off, because you couldn't get a bigger test for someone with my particular issues of looking after other people and blah, blah, than what happened in the last few days to test me on emotional eating. So that was great to see.